Hello, and welcome to the Ghosts of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Sarah, the brave and completely unfazed. When we finished our last episode about the haunted Lady Blanche house, little did we know our weird New Hampshire ghost adventure had just begun. Today I'm taking you down the road to Conway, New Hampshire to explore the legendary Stock Road Cemetery. Stock Road runs from Route 302 just outside Conway Village to the Crystal Lake Road. This small unruly cemetery sits on the side of the road amid scrubby bushes and trees. The first thing you notice about Stock Cemetery is it's in rough shape. A lot of the stones are cracked, some look like they're about to fall over. It just looks uncared for and forgotten. In 1982, the local Department of Public Works decided to resurface Stock Road. Sounds like a good idea, right? Well, apparently, the road crew drove bulldozers through the cemetery, crushing and cracking many of the gravestones. Even though plans were announced to repair the graves, you can see that the condition remains the same today, which is not good. But even though the Stock Road Cemetery looks forgotten, locals report experiencing a lot of activity here after dark. They say that when you drive by the cemetery at night, two large, red glowing eyes appear at the cemetery and follow you down the road. If you try this, definitely check your rearview mirror, but also keep an eye out for deer. Other witnesses report an eerie red glow emanating from within the cemetery walls after dark. Also creepy. But nobody can explain why a pair of glowing red eyes would be haunting this cemetery. Are the eyes red with anger, chasing intruders down Stock Road? Or could they be red from crying, a sad spirit reaching out for help? Nobody knows. So we decided to do some digging, and what we found was shocking. There's a lot of ancient tragedy and a lot of anger associated with this cemetery in the Stock neighborhood in general. Theory 1. The missing brother. Let's just get this out of the way. These aren't the Stocks you're thinking about. The name Stock goes back hundreds of years in history and is part of many local New Hampshire legends. Among the names you'll see at the Stock Road Cemetery are General John Stock and Major Samuel Stock, two major heroes from the American Revolutionary War. John Stock is also famous for his quote, "Live free or die," which has been the New Hampshire state motto since 1945. Given that these two guys are towering figures in American history, it's weird to see their poorly maintained gravestones in this small, rundown cemetery. It gets even weirder because most people agree that General John Stock is buried 150 miles away from here in the Stock Park in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is, incidentally, the greatest name for a park in the history of ever, Stock Park. So if John Stock is buried in Manchester, then who's buried in the Stock Road Cemetery under the General John Stock gravestone? Other members of the Stock family also appear to be buried here in the Stock Cemetery. Conspicuously absent, though, is the elder brother of John and Samuel, William Stock. William was a decorated veteran of the French and Indian Wars. In recognition of his services during that war, the King of England granted William thousands of acres of land in the Conway area, including the land on which the Stock Road Cemetery sits today. Years after the French and Indian War, when the American Revolution started, William expected to be given command of the New Hampshire forces. However, he was passed over in favor of a politically connected soldier who had been his subordinate during the French and Indian Wars. This was a huge embarrassment and insult to William, who was clearly the most senior and best man for the job. In his anger, William wrote to New York City and offered to fight for the British instead. This betrayal greatly upset his family, especially his brother, General John Stock. In revenge for his disloyalty, the new American government confiscated all of William's New Hampshire property, leaving William without a home to return to. William Stock was later killed in the fighting at the Battle of Long Island. While some said that William was buried in the town of Lyme, New Hampshire, it turns out that this is actually the gravesite of his son, William Jr. To this day, no one knows where the body of William Stock is buried. It remains a dark, unsolved chapter in the Stock family history. That's absolutely insane. Could it be that the red eyes are those of the angry spirit of William Stock, trying in vain to chase trespassers from the land that was once rightfully his? Or could William be angry that his younger brothers have memorials in the Stock family cemetery while he is robbed of that honor? Or, perhaps most unsettling, could William's spirit be doomed to wander the land, restlessly searching for his own unmarked grave? Theory 2. The Pest House. From 1791 to 1798, a smallpox outbreak hit the town of Conway, New Hampshire. Smallpox was one of the most devastating diseases known to humanity. Many people in the town fell victim to the gruesome and highly contagious disease. Incredibly, historical records indicate that the Samuel Stark House, located near the Stark Road Cemetery, was used as a pest house to hold the dying victims of the disease and to keep the other homes in town safe from contamination. That is messed up. How do you get nominated for the pest house? Many local residents who were ill were sent to Samuel Stark's pest house, doomed to the final few days of suffering, disfigurement, and death, only to be buried alone, far away from their loved ones. And while their disfigured bodies might be laid to rest beneath the ground at the Stark Cemetery, it seems that their agonized spirits might continue to roam about the area, eyes red with fever, looking for their loved ones that they never got to see again. Theory 3. Crying eyes. This theory has actually been verified by a local historian. The story goes that a young lady fell in love with a man that lived in the area of the Stark Road Cemetery. She died of a broken heart because the man was unfaithful to her. Just before she died, she put a curse on the land of the man's family. She said that all the nice houses in the area should rot away, wild bushes and briars should overtake the farmers' fields, and nobody should ever be able to farm the land. It is interesting to see that years later, the neighborhood around Stark Cemetery is indeed troubled by unsettling activities and paranormal anomalies. Incredibly, one of the gravestones you'll find in the Stark Road Cemetery belongs to a young girl named Melinda Stark. She died in 1813 at the age of 16 years old. Could this be the heartbroken, angry young girl from the story, whose crying red eyes now chase travelers down Stark Road at night? After researching and exploring the many historical facts and legends about the Stark Road area, I'm left with more questions than answers. If you're listening and have connections with this area, please comment below and let us know what you think. All I know is the Stark Road Cemetery holds many untold stories, and I hope the souls resting there can have peace one day. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Sarah the Brave and Slightly Shaken, and this is Ghosts of the White Mountains. I'll see you next time.